everyone. Happy Friday. Yay! I'm Olga Zilberberg, as I was introduced. I work with organizations and individuals and anyone that wants to hear me talk as I talk about being healthy, being able to thrive in the workspace and in the workplace, being on the lookout for how we decline, our mental health and well-being declines, and the intersection of being neurodivergent and struggling in the workplace and maneuvering a system that has not been designed for ourselves, for the different type of people, different type of brains that we have. I've been working in this space for 10 years, give or take, and I identify as neurodivergent, I identify as autistic, I come from a family of neurodivergent kids and partner, so very, very colorful in the sense of how we all relate to each other, very challenging, and coming into workplace, it can be very hard. So what I'm going to talk to you about is early signs of burnout. I want to talk to you about burnout in tech industry, give you some statistics, and then I want to really provide you with a set of different strategies, different ideas, something that you can take away with you, that you can implement, and you can be able to thrive at work, to be okay, to say, I'm going to take a step back. Now I'm going to be chillaxing and relaxing because it's too much, because I've been dealing with all of this stuff. So that's what I want to talk to you about today. Now, thinking about glitching, hands up. Let's do hands up. So I'll pop a few statements on the screen. You put your hand up if it applies to you, or it has applied to you, or if it doesn't. So, overchecking work, social, or systems for no reason. Thank you. What about rereading the same email message and still not processing it? It's a hard one, isn't it? What about feeling emotionally flat or numb when you just go, it's a meh day? What about hyperfixating on low priority tasks to avoid? Yes? Thank you. When I hover 4 or 5 times in my house, I start wondering, why am I hovering? What do I not want to do? So yeah. And the last one, more sensitive to light, sounds, texts, interruptions, people talking, someone breathing next to me, please stop it. Can you just not chew next to me? Can you just not blink? Because I hear it. Right? True? So, if you put your hand up to one of those, welcome to the human experience. If you put your hand up to more than one of those, your system is running hot. So now is when we need to take a step back and think, where am I at? What am I feeling? How did I reach to that point? So what we do know is that burnout is physical, it's emotional, it's a mental exhaustion. And what we do know is that if we don't have time to recover in between, we just don't get any better. And we don't identify we need to recover, and we carry on going. Because we go into hyper-focus mode, and then we find something really super exciting, and then we go do some research, and then we forget to eat, and then we forget to drink, and then we forget to go to the bathroom, and so on and so forth. There are little tiny red flags all on the way that only us would identify, but if we don't notice them, we reach burnout really, really quickly. So we want to be able to notice those little red flags that come along the way. So when we talk about red flags, what sort of manifestations can we think of? What can you think of? What do you see in yourselves before you reach the point of, that is it, I'm exhausted, I'm done? I want a break from life. That's what I heard today. I want a break from life. Thank you very much. What do we see when we get to that point? What do you get to see? Anyone?
Diminished patience.
Yeah. Thank you. Good one. Anything else? Lack of attention? Yeah. Yeah. Anything else? No? Okay. Say again?
Missed deadlines.
Missed deadlines, absolutely. Difficulty concentrating, staying on a task. And we miss deadlines. We miss meetings as well, because the mind goes off somewhere else. Forgetting what you're doing. Start doing something, you go elsewhere, do something else, and it gets to a point where you just don't remember anymore what you're supposed to be doing because it's too much. The mind has lots of windows open, just like the computer has lots of windows open, and then the system just gets all on that panic mode. It's too much, haven't got enough memory. Rereading the same sentence or email multiple times, we said that, so we are not able to get going and not able to be productive. Procrastinating more than usual, overchecking work constantly, sleeping too much, sleeping too little, eating too much, eating too little as well. So noticing those changes in your body. Being irritable. Who barks? I bark. Meaning that I bark at people and I'm very, very irritable. I'm very burnt out. And then my children go, she's grumpy. She's weird. And I just step aside. So I need external feedback when the kids start going like, oh my gosh, what's wrong with you? Feeling emotionally flat or numb, we said that before, and losing motivation for things that we usually enjoy doing. When we just want to have nothing to do, but the less we do, the less we want to do, and then we go into that vicious cycle of, oh my gosh, I feel so numb that I don't know what's going on with me. I don't feel myself. I hear people saying, I don't feel myself. Feeling detached or withdrawn. So, it gets to a point when we don't want to answer to Slack messages or Kajabi or WhatsApp or whatever platform you might use or Teams. We tend not to maybe touch the phone because we don't want to see who's texted or who's sent messages. We maybe don't open up the emails because we just go, oh, I'm just shutting that because I probably have 150 emails waiting for me just because. So we start withdrawing and we are less and less and less productive. So these are manifestations of burnout in general population. Now, when we talk about cybersecurity and some of the data that there is available out there in terms of burnout, interesting how it is very high percentages of individuals burning out in cybersecurity. Interesting, that 85% of IT security professionals are thinking that they will leave their job because of the high stress levels and because of, I can see how it's taking me over to burnout. Right? So percentages in population are much, much lower, in general population, much lower. But when we talk about the type of work that you guys do, it's very, very demanding. And those demands are not having the time to recover, and the structures that are put in place of you must come and work 9 to 5, and you might be in the office at 9 o'clock, but I've been dealing with an incident until 2 o'clock in the morning. Yes, but we still need you in the office for 9 o'clock. And not having that flexibility and understanding that you might work better in the evenings, you might work better in the mornings. Everyone is completely different. That leads to all these figures and catastrophic gaps in talent in the industry in which those gaps cannot be filled. And we're talking about millions of jobs being out there, but there is not enough talent coming in to be able to fill in those gaps. And people leave the industry because they're burnt out. So, when we talk about neurodiverse teams, why do we want to think wider? So, what we know nowadays is that around 20% of the population is neurodivergent, and those figures keep changing because people are being diagnosed later in life, and people are starting to go down the path of, you know what, I really want to know. There is something that I've always been different. There is something that I know is different with me, I want to know. So that figure will change as we progress and we work with people, we diagnose people. We know about 1 in 100 people are autistic. We do know that 10% of the population are dyslexic. Dyspraxia is an 8%. ADHD is at 8%. Lots of different figures at the moment because, again, people have been diagnosed very late in life. And dyscalculia is at 6%. So if you think about you working in an organization in which there are more than 10 people, and you think about these percentages, you're going to encounter neurodivergent individuals in your workplace, whether you are or you're not, whether they disclose or they don't disclose, whether they know or they don't know. You're going to encounter different types of thinking, processing information, understanding the world, problem solving. Everyone is very different. So when we talk about neurodiversity and the umbrella, before I pop anything in there, what sort of conditions or what sort of neurotypes, if we were to use a more defined language, what sort of conditions can you put under the umbrella? When we talk about diverse, neurodivergent individuals, diverse teams, what can we put under the umbrella? Anyone? Autism, one of them, yeah. Any other? ADHD, thank you. Asperger's, thank you. Down syndrome, yeah? Thank you. So different ways of processing information, learning, different ways of communicating, different ways of working and problem solving. So some of them up there, I'm just going to pop them all up. Anxiety disorders, up there, Tourette syndrome, ADHD, autism, OCD, dyspraxia, Down syndrome, you said that one, dementia, bipolar, dyscalculia, Alzheimer's, dyslexia, and one in here that people miss sometimes is neurotypical. So certain bunch of population, they've got no neurological differences. They're neurotypical. They more or less process information, understand, communicating in a particular way that is deemed by society as normal. Right? And we hear people saying, are you normal? They're not normal. They're not normal. So that is that neurotypical. Under the umbrella, we've got neurotypical individuals and we've got neurodivergent individuals. And we all work together. So important for us to keep that in mind. When we talk about the stroke, when we talk about neurodiversity in tech, why I tend to work with STEM organizations and tech organizations, because individuals within STEM, within tech, they're drawn to certain career paths and certain ways of thinking, operating, and learning because of the strengths. And these are the strengths that individuals have. So some individuals are very good at attention to detail, identifying algorithms, thinking outside the box, problem solving. ADHDers in a crisis, give them a crisis, they love it. They will just kick in the brain because adrenaline and cortisol engages the prefrontal cortex and they just go into focus mode. They go, right, okay, that needs to be done, and that, and that, and that, and that, and that, I'm doing it. And this is what you guys are doing. Hyper-analytical minds, some individuals want routine and they love it and they like having routine. Some individuals like the differences in the day. Not the day is the same. Today I've got this, tomorrow I've got that. So when we talk about neurodiversity in tech, people are drawn towards these type of careers because of the strengths that they exhibit, the strengths that they can actually go into a workplace and thrive, and they can enjoy what they do. So when we talk about neurodivergent individuals and we talk about burnout, we need to talk about the differences in the brain. And the differences in the brain, there is no better, there is no worse, there is no, you're doing it right and you're doing it wrong. It's just different wiring. In the same way, flowers are all daisies and then they all have different shades of. Or daffodils are all yellow, they all have different shades of. It's the same with the human brain. The wiring is different. And there are strengths and there are challenges, but when we talk about differences in the executive function, there are certain challenges that neurodivergent individuals will have because we're operating in a world that is not actually designed for a different type of brain. And some of those challenges, I'll put them up here, and then we'll talk about burnout and how burnout looks different in neurodivergent individuals as well, because it's important to notice that. So some of the tasks or some of the challenges that a neurodivergent individual might have with regards to the executive function is planning and organizing. So sometimes we become very overwhelmed if we've got far too many things in our head and we are not able to plan what comes first. We sometimes have difficulty getting our words in order to be able to say to someone, this is what I want to do. We might have problems with timekeeping. We might have problems with prioritizing. So some individuals will say, I'm doing this and why are you doing that? The priority is that, but because I need all of this in place before I focus on that particular task. And people will go, but why? That's the priority, because that's how my brain works and I need to go through all of that to be able to get to that priority. Hyperfocus, so the ability to focus or not focus. So sometimes we talk about ADHD and we say ADHD is a misnomer really, attention deficit, hyperactivity disorder. I mean, it can be a worse name, is it? If you give an ADHD as something they really, 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 really like doing, they're going to hyperfocus on it. So it's not that they don't have attention. They have attention, but the attention is chosen where it goes to. And I choose, thank you very much. I don't want you to tell me what to do. I like doing that, and I'm just going to do what I like doing. So the attention is there, and there is no deficit to it. It's just the way my brain works. Task initiation. Have you heard task paralysis? Anyone struggles with that? Yeah? Lots of millions of bits and bobs, and suddenly it's like, So task initiation is a problem. People don't understand that the problem is not the task. It might be, I don't know how to start. I don't know where to start. Too many options, thank you. So with that one, I often say that neurotypical individuals will say, and I remember people saying to me, Olga, how do you eat an elephant? How do you eat an elephant, guys? How do you eat it? Tail first, think like that one. Tail first, yeah. So people will say, one bite at a time, chop it up into lots of pieces and then one bite at a time. And now I want to say thank you very much, that's very helpful, because now I've got an elephant into 20 million pieces on the floor and I still don't know where to start. So I have one and I can say tail first. No, now I'm thinking, shit, what do I do with it? How do I put it back together? Do I touch it? No. So then I procrastinate and walk away. Because if I don't look at it, it's not there, even though it is there, but I'm just hoping for the fairies to come and figure out a way forward, or the elves, maybe. Communication sometimes is a problem. We might say something, we might open our mouths, we might be very blunt, very straightforward, and people go, or someone might tell us something and they sugarcoat things very well and very nicely, and we just go, do I or do I need to do this? I'm not quite sure. So communication can be a problem if it's not clear language. Working memory. Who loses the keys by about 20 million times a day? Thank you. What about mobile phones? Do you not wish you had a tracker on your mobile phone? I do sometimes. Who loses the keys? The back of the car. I had once. I lost them. The back of the car. They were there. I found them. They were there. Right. Say again? And the wallet in the back of the car. And the dog as well. But they all forgive me. So, why burnout hits differently? So we do know that the executive function is wired in a different way. We do know we are maneuvering a neurotypical world that is not designed necessarily for us. We do know that workplaces have very strict type of rulings at times. You're supposed to do this and that and that and that and that. We do know that we operate in a different way. So why does it hit us differently? Energy usage. It takes more energy for us to sometimes process information, to multitask, to have lots of windows open, and then you go, I don't know which one to deal with. It takes the brain lots of energy to socialize, to understand our internal system. Those interoception issues are things that people often talk about, but this is my internal system. It's me understanding that I'm tired, or I'm hungry, or I'm thirsty, or I need the bathroom, or I need to stop. We have problems with that sense. interoceptive sense. So we forget to eat and we forget to drink and we forget to go to the bathroom. And when we want to realize, suddenly we've gone down slippery slope and we're down in the hole because we've forgotten, we've been working all day, we're really, really tired and exhausted, we're depleted of energy. So energy, multitasking, hyper-focus. Executive function demands, we already spoke about that, but those demands, internalized ableism. We are in the workplace and we start talking about, I should be able to do this because everyone else is doing it. Any one of you have looked at colleagues and peers and they are off to do this and that and it's Friday, yeah! And we're going home like, oh my God, thank God, it's Friday, just gonna put my pajamas on, just sit down, watch TV, do nothing, and some people go like, yeah, I want to do. And sometimes we say, I wish I could do it. Again? Masking our traits, masking the way we present ourselves, so we look like everyone else, so we are all like, nice, and then no one says, oh, what's wrong with her, she's old, or what's wrong with him, he's old, or why are they behaving in that particular way? Sensory stimulation, light, sounds, heat, cold, you name it. And the last one is rejection sensitivity. So some individuals will struggle a lot with perfectionism, and they will really, really, really try to get it all right and get it all perfect because I don't want to be rejected. I don't want people to give me bad feedback. I don't want someone to come and say, why do you do that for like that? And then I'm going, oh my gosh, this is so bad. I feel so bad. I shouldn't have done it this way. So some people are very sensitive to that rejection or what is perceived as rejection. Lack of boundaries. Can I just check, hands up, are you guys okay saying no without guilt? Do you struggle to say no, I'm not doing that for you? Do you struggle setting a boundary in place, anyone? Some of you, yes, some of us no. It's terrible because we go, yeah. And then we get to it, we go, why did I? And we deplete ourselves, we really do. So, that is why a difference in the brain leads us to burning out much, much quicker. So when we talk about manifestations in neurodivergent individuals, what you might experience, and this is just generic, you need to think about what you might experience. What is it that you notice in yourself? So all those red flags. Loss of skills. So when we are burning out, we suddenly have loss of skills, and that means that I'm not able to communicate as clearly. I might not be able to think as clearly. I was probably able to sit down and put a report together and look through all of this stuff and find whatever it is that I needed to find in that particular report. And all of a sudden my brain is all mushy. I've gone into that foggy brain and I can't think straight. Maybe you start dropping things, maybe you forget where you put things, maybe you can't sleep. So we start losing skills that we had and things that we were able to do and we're not anymore because our executive function is being impacted. Emotional dysregulation, I was talking about barking and I was talking about, getting angry with people. How many of you get irritable with individuals when you are going down the slippery slope? So some of us might get very angry, some of us might get very cranky, some of us might get very tearful. And everything is a big deal, so we just become more tearful. Chronic exhaustion. No, you go to sleep, wake up in the morning, you're still exhausted. The weekend comes, you rest at the weekend, you are still exhausted. You still feel like you're carrying all this weight. So that physical, chronic, mental, cognitive exhaustion, I can't think straight. Inability to mask. That's when we open our mouth sometimes and we just say, I don't care. I really don't care what you think, but you know what? I'm just going to be really, really, really blunt and straightforward because I haven't the energy to sugarcoat because I've burnt out. So that inability to mask, the inability to pretend to be the same as. So we might start doing things that help soothe, and we might hop, or we might sway, or we might chew on things, or we might do stress balls, whatever it is, just to help us cope. Intolerance to stimuli. and we start withdrawing from the world. I don't like the lights, I don't like the sound, the music is bothering me, the radio is bothering me, people making noises outside in the street is bothering me, and people talking outside in the street is bothering me, or people talking in the office are bothering me. So in not being able to tolerate what we could tolerate earlier, and we could be kind of okay. And the last one is social withdrawal. So we go on to our caves, I say, and that's a way of restoring. Now, with this one in here, one of the things that we need to be very aware of is when we get all of this together, but we start going on to social withdrawal. If we might go to GP or we might talk to people, people might say, you're depressed. And oftentimes, neurodivergent burnout is misdiagnosed as depression. And people then will be treated for depression when what it is neurodivergent burnout. So when we are treated for depression but it's not depression, we don't engage with the treatment. We find very difficult to follow through. We find very difficult to do what we are supposed to be doing to get better according to clinicians. And we get put down as, they're not cooperative, they don't want to do. It's not because we don't want to do, it's because it's not depression. Is burnout. And the more we are forced into engaging with certain type of treatment or therapeutic approach, the more we burn out, because we don't have the energy to be able to do things the way we are told that we've got to do. Does it make sense? Are there any questions or any thoughts so far with regards to what we have covered before we jump onto things we can do to help ourselves? Any reflections, any thoughts? Everyone okay?
I should tell you my thoughts.
It isn't it? I wish I would have known all of this when I went down the hole, I was so being treated for depression, and suddenly it's like, actually, it's not. And then I was at home thinking, what's wrong with me?
We all know that there's a crisis in India and ADHD.
Oh, yes.
So, how bloody hell can you tell a doctor how stupid it is?
Yeah. I agree with you. Look, I really agree with you. The waiting list is, I think, hitting the 7 years now. A 7-year long waiting list to be diagnosed for ADHD is ridiculous, isn't it? And then you go to a doctor and they tell you to do all this kind of paperwork and right to choose, and people give up because you think it's just so much that I've got to do. I don't have the energy because I'm burning out, thank you, and I don't need all of that layer off.
The inability to mask can also result in problems at work because you've reached the end of the order.
Yes, you have.
So you end up with a management intervention scenario.
Thank you very much. We do. We burn the candle at both ends, and we start doing things in here. And if I'm not able to mask, and I open my mouth and I say, well, you won't do it. Because my boss has said, can you do that? And I said, I haven't got the time. Well, it's only going to take 5 minutes. Well, it's going to take 5 minutes. You're going to do it. Right? And I've opened my mouth and I go, I shouldn't have. But I have opened my mouth and now they go, that's not very nice, is it? What about loss of skills? If I've been doing whatever job and all of a sudden I can't do it, and they say, what's wrong with you? You were able to do the spreadsheet, you were able to do this and that. You're not, we're going to put you in a pip. Because you're not performing. Sometimes that loss of skill, being really, really tired and withdrawing, leads to people thinking we are unmotivated. They're not motivated, they don't care, they're just lazy. And that leads us to getting in trouble at work, like you say. And then we may have chats with HR or with the manager, or, put on a performance plan or whatever it might be. It all comes from lack of understanding from the organizations we work for, lack of understanding how individuals operate in different ways, lack of understanding that not all brains work in the same way. And if they all were to work in the same way, we're still in caves, sitting down there, waiting for someone to come and feed us. And goodness for the ADHDers that got this PS and went, oh, mammoth! Let's go and hunt that one! Exciting! And off we went and left the caves. Otherwise we would be still sitting in a cave, possibly dying of starvation or some sort. So, we burn out differently, it shows differently, people misinterpret what they see. They misinterpret behavior and we get caught and we get into trouble. Looking into helping ourselves. Has anyone heard of the spoons metaphor? Spoonies in here? Yay, spoonies. Excellent. Right. So, we have 12 spoons every day. That's energy. And now we need to utilize, for those of you that are not spoonies, we need to utilize the spoons in a way that are going to serve me, my energy, in a way that is going to serve me for everything that I want to do until the end of my day. So I'm talking about energy budgeting. The same way you budget your income or you budget whatever you budget is energy budgeting. I want to look into my day and say, what do I have? What am I at? One day has 12 spoons. If you wake up one day and you are not rested, you are in pain, you've got headaches, whatever it might be, you don't have 12. You have 7 maybe, you have 8 maybe. You don't always start your day with 12. And that's something that we need to keep in mind. I wake up one day, I'm in pain, I haven't slept very well, or it was a very short night, or I'm hungover, or whatever it might be. I have got 7 spoons and I haven't got 8, or I have got 12, whatever it might be. So thinking of budgeting, super important that you look at your day, you look at what you've got, you start budgeting up and thinking what you can put in your day or what you don't put in your day. Now, you don't have that many spoons. It comes 3 o'clock in the afternoon and you're done. That's it, I'm done. Some ideas to wash up some spoons so you can gain some of them back, put back in your drawer. You might not have a big chunky tablespoon to put back in your drawer. You might have a tiny weeny one because it's at the end of your day. But if you do something to replenish your spoons, you can keep your head above water until you get to the end of the day and then you rest. So, ideas in here. Internal checking in. What do I need right now? We need to ask ourselves. If you don't ask yourself, what do I need right now? You're not going to know. You're going to go in hyper-focus mode. And then 10 hours later, you come out of it thinking, oh my gosh, I'm thirsty, I'm hungry. I don't know what my body's feeling. So checking in is important so that you can give yourself what you need. Resting or sleeping or closing your eyes and listening to music or meditating or whatever you might want to do, important. Connecting with people, talking to people. Connecting with nature. You don't have to talk to people. You can connect with nature. You can connect with the dog. I love connecting with my dog. He never talks back. Ever. I take him out. I tell him where to go. He happily plods along. And then I talk to him and he never talks back to me. Brilliant. Focus time. One thing at a time. Just one thing at a time only. Because we are bombarded by 20 million things every day. So sometimes taking step back and saying, I'm going to do a Sudoku, I'm going to do a Wordle, I'm going to go on some gardening, I'm going to go and chop some vegetables for dinner, whatever it might be, one thing at a time, allows the brain to disconnect from all the other bits and bobs. And suddenly my brain goes, oh, thank you, ta-da, brilliant, now I can focus. Downtime, doing nothing on purpose for the sake of doing nothing, whatever downtime might be for you. Playtime, laughter, being silly, whatever playtime might be. We forget that play is also something that we can do. So it could be video gaming, if you do video games. It could be fixing a computer, it could be fixing a bicycle, it could be whatever it is that you do for the sake of just doing. So some ideas to replenish some of the spoons. Is there anything in there you guys don't do? Or anything in there you guys do that helps? You might want to shout out, I do this, it helps.
Veg.
Which one?
Like veg.
That one?
Just sit and do nothing.
Sit and do nothing. Thank you very much.
15 minutes sat before I start work.
Yeah.
Veggie.
Yeah. Sit and do nothing and give my brain a little break. Thank you. The problem with this world, the problem with Western world, is that we attach a sense of worth and achievement and value to what we do. So when we say things, when someone comes and says, what have you done today? I just say, oh, I've been sitting down doing nothing. They go, oh, part-timer. We're human beings. We're not human doings. We're human beings. You can sit and do nothing. for a while, why not? Just inhabit your body. Don't live up here, control tower, which is what we tend to do. We are here, control tower, and the body just gets taken everywhere. Wherever this one said we're going, the body gets taken everywhere. So just pause for a moment and see what you can do. So some ideas in here of things that you might want to put into your day. It doesn't have to be hours. It can be a 5-minute thing. It could be a 10-minute. It could be something that you do while the kettle boils or the microwave is warming up a meal or something. A couple of minutes. When we talk about managing tasks, so we're going to look into managing tasks and managing time. Some ideas in here. Defining and agreeing top priorities each week. Do you do that in your workplace? Do you talk to your boss or your line manager or your colleagues and say, these are my priorities? Do you have an opportunity even to talk to someone and say, yeah, some of you do, yeah? So important, limit the number of life projects that you might have. If you've got too many, can you dedicate the attention that is needed for every single one of them? Have you said yes because you couldn't say no, and now you've got projects that you're thinking, how are you going to get to them? Sometimes that's a problem. Redefining time expectations, so allowing time for me to be able to do quality control and be able to check again, so I don't have to go from one thing to another, turn all this paperwork in, and then I get stuck. Implementing time check-ins during complex tasks so you don't go into hyper-focus mode. Very important, if you notice you're going into hyper-focus, find ways to come out of it, because otherwise you will not eat, you will just be working on a particular project and you will not be able to sleep, switch off, and your brain is constantly working, so you get to bed and thus your brain is still working. You wake up at 3 a.m. because your brain is still working and you think of a solution. Then you go back to sleep again, 6 o'clock, you think, oh, I had an idea at 3 a.m. and now I didn't write it down, so I forgot. But then the following day you do that, and you sit in front of the computer at 3 a.m, and then it's 6 a.m, you go like, oh my gosh, my eyes are like this, I've been here for whatever long, because I didn't want to lose the idea. And that's how we end up burning out. Use the definition of time. That was something that was I learned not very long ago, and it was amazing, because suddenly I am to ask someone, what would be your definition of done for this particular task or project? And they will say, like this and that and that and that. And I go, oh, okay, because my definition of done is like this and that and that and that and that, because I'm a perfectionist, I'm a recovering perfectionist. So I will go up here, but someone is telling me, no, my definition of done will be done here. So that allows me to turn in and say, right, to my eyes, it's an 80% job. To your eyes, it's 100%. Review, come back to me and let me know what I need to put in place to make it better, to change it, or are you happy with it? So definition of prioritizing projects clearly, important, and assigning realistic deadlines collaboratively. Because sometimes we get caught up. Someone says, is that okay to do it by the end of the month? And we don't think about it. We say, oh, yeah. End of the month is fine. And then we get caught. End of the month comes, and we are trying to keep our head above water, and we can't. It's too hard. And I oftentimes say that I bite onto more than what I can chew. Thank you. And I'm always trying to keep my head above water. Not nice. Right. One of the things that is super important, so we talk about managing tasks, we're going to talk about managing time. One of the things that is super important is transitions. Who in here struggles transitioning from one task to another? Who in here hates when someone says, come on, it's dinner time? You're like, I don't know, leave me alone, I don't want to eat. Come on, we need to leave the house now, we're going to town. Go away, just piss off, leave me alone, I don't want to do it. Because it is, right? We are quite happy doing what we are doing. So, a typical individual will say, why is it so hard? Well, let me tell you why it's hard. Because first of all, I need to transition cognitively. So I'm doing something I really like doing. And now I need to stop doing something I really like doing to do something that I really don't like doing. So in here, I need to say, okay, Olga, stop for a moment. Now, you need to start making dinner, but you were quite happy doing that. Oh, rubbish. So I start then planning cognitively what I need to put in place to get to dinner. or get dinner done. But also physically, I need to move from one place to another. And then emotionally, I need to grieve that you guys want to drag me out of the house to go shopping, which I hate, but I was quite happy doing something. So I need to grieve. I need to go through all the stages of grief. The anger, the depression, the bargaining. Papa, if I take you later, what about that? Just to go to the acceptance that I'm the only driver in the house and I'm going to have to take them in town as much as I want to. So thinking of transition, very important. I'm about to run out of time, but I want to show this one across to you, just so you have it. I will be sending the handouts, the deck out to the team so they can distribute us for it. Managing time. Any one of you uses Pomodoro technique, Tick, I love Tick, Trello, Forest, Siri, Alexa. We have got a 14-year-old that talks to Alexa more than she talks to us. Because she's an ADHD, and Alexa reminds her everything she needs to do. The conversation she has with Alexa, honestly, she doesn't have it with us. Adding buffer time in there for you. Boxing in time. Blocking your time in a calendar, box it in. Don't let anyone distract you. That's it. This is my boxed in time. If you're unable to start a task, start 5 minutes. Give yourself permission to drop it after 5 minutes. If after 5 minutes you don't want to drop it and you want to carry on, you carry on. But you having permission to drop it, it's a starting point. You can start, drop it, tomorrow you come back to it, 5 minutes and you drop it. Looking into body doubling or budding, that can help as well. And predefine or pre-decide your stop conditions. What does that look like to me? Because I need to be able to stop. And if I am not able to stop, I'm going to be hooked and I'm going to burn out. Right. On that note, any thoughts, any questions, anything at all, anyone, before we wrap up? Because I've come to my limit now of my 5 minutes that I was given. Any thoughts, any questions, any reflections, anyone? Go ahead, please.
So, thank you for the talk. I'd like to add for a question that I'm neurodiverse and have autism. But sometimes I'd just like to know what your opinions are on that. Sometimes I worry that the more we talk about neurodiverse burnout, the more we risk alienating employers or making them think, oh, it's not worth hiring neurodiverse people. It's not worth the risk that they won't do the job I give them, or that they'll raise an unfair dismissal suit if they're not able to do something like that. Do you worry you risk going back to that?
It's a really, really, really good question. It is a question and it is a worry by many, many, many individuals. And in fact, people will not disclose. 65% of people will not disclose their condition because of fear, of stigma, discrimination, not being given the jobs, being pushed aside, or being treated differently. So you are very, very right. The more we talk about it, the more people get to have an understanding. But we need to shift the culture in workplaces. We need to be able to say, this is what I need to be able to do the job you've employed me to do well. There are organizations like JP Morgan, Oticon, Dell, SAP that have programs for autistic individuals in particular because they bring loads of talent. But not every organization is at that level. This big one we're talking about. Good question, thank you.
Just going to say, comes down to line management. I've had a neurodiverse line manager with similar makeup to myself. It does grind, because you get each other's nerves. And then, because I have to explain everything to him, I then got taken at work. So you have a good package at work, you're lucky.
Yeah.
When it comes down to having a line manager that effectively buffers you.
Yeah.
So I reached a bit of burnout. And he just said, it's not working in the office. And I just made sure I came in a bit later and didn't have all the ranks. That's what it comes out in the office.
Yeah. That's really good. I'm putting that up there. It's a checklist, a burnout checklist I put together. Hopefully the QR code works. If not, I'll send it out as PDF. If you have managers that understand and have the willingness to understand, it's brilliant, but not everyone has managers that have the willingness to understand and be curious. and it is a risk. I want to believe, in answer to your question, that I want to believe that we are not going regressing back onto let's do la ears, and I want to believe that now neurodivergent individuals have a voice, and we are able to talk, we are able to say, no, this is equity. This is, if someone needs that, I also need this, and this is equity. If you want me to do my job, I can do it. That's why you hired me. But I need these things in place. And listen, there was a report that I read this morning that 91%, I think it was, of the accommodations that can be put in place, they don't cost the organization any money, and they benefit everyone. They don't only benefit neurodivergent individuals, they benefit everyone. Having pens and notepads in a meeting room, which was one adjustment an organization did, after I went in talking to them, benefited everyone, not only the ADHD that forgets the notepad and needs to come back to their desk. They can just sit and go, I'm chill, I get my pen and paper from here, I don't need to run, and everyone goes, she's forgotten again. Oh dear. So, yeah. Any other questions, anyone? No? Thank you very much. Have a lovely Friday.